The year was 2047, and the world was not as peaceful as people had hoped it would be. Along the border between India and Pakistan, soldiers watched each other with suspicion. Small fights broke out almost daily. Both countries claimed the same land as their own, and neither side wanted to back down. William Carter stood at the window of the American Embassy in New Delhi, India. He was tall, with graying hair at his temples and tired eyes that had seen too many conflicts. As a diplomat for the United States, his job was to help keep peace. But lately, that job felt impossible. He picked up his secure phone and called Washington. "The situation is getting worse," he said. "Both sides are moving more troops to the border. I think we need to send more help." On the other side of the world, in a room full of screens and maps, a woman named Susan Bell listened to William's report. Susan worked for the president as a security advisor. She had short brown hair and always wore simple suits. "We'll let the president know," she told William. "But there's only so much we can do in someone else's fight." Out in the Arabian Sea, the U.S. Valiant moved through the dark water. The ship was one of America's newest and most powerful. On the bridge, Commander Olivia Martinez watched the coastline through binoculars. She was in her 40s with dark skin and sharp eyes that missed nothing. "Any updates from shore?" she asked her communications officer. "Pakistan has moved 3 missile systems closer to the border," the young officer replied. "India says they'll respond if the missiles aren't moved back." Olivia frowned. This was how wars started, one small step at a time, until no one could turn back. Back in New Delhi, William met with Indian officials. The meeting room was hot despite the air conditioning. Everyone seemed angry. "Pakistan is the aggressor here," said Defense Minister Raj Patel, pounding his fist on the table. "They'd bring weapons to the border and expect us to do nothing." William tried to keep his voice calm. "We understand your concerns, but any military response will only make things worse. We need to find a way to talk." Minister Patel laughed without humor. "Talk? While they aim missiles at our cities? Perhaps America can afford such luxury from across the ocean." In Islamabad, Pakistan's capital, another American diplomat named Frank Powell was having a similar conversation with Pakistani leaders. They blamed India for the problems and said they were only protecting themselves. At the Pentagon in Washington, a man named Gregory Simmons stared at strange data on his computer. He had been analyzing signals from the border region when he noticed something odd: energy readings that didn't match any known weapons. He rubbed his tired eyes and looked again. The readings were still there. He picked up his phone to call his supervisor but stopped. Who would believe him without more evidence? He decided to dig deeper first. That night, as William tried to sleep in his embassy apartment, his phone rang. It was Olivia from the U.S. Valiant. "We've detected unusual activity along the border," she said, her voice tense. "Something big is happening, but it doesn't match any military movement we've seen before." William sat up in bed. "What kind of activity?" "That's just it. We don't know. But whatever it is, it started right after Pakistan tested their new missile system." In her office at NASA in Houston, Dr. Aisha Johnson was also looking at strange data. The satellites she monitored had picked up energy signatures from the Himalayan region that made no scientific sense. They reminded her of theoretical models for advanced technology that shouldn't exist yet. As the sun rose over New Delhi the next morning, William received an urgent message from President Elaine Foster herself. "Keep channels open with both sides. Do not let this escalate. Something bigger than we understand may be at stake." William didn't know what the president meant by something bigger, but the serious tone of her message sent a chill down his spine. As he looked out at the city waking up, he wondered how many of these people would still be alive if war broke out, and for the first time, he wondered if America might get pulled into this fight in ways no one expected. 3 days later, the first shots were fired across the border. Indian and Pakistani troops exchanged gunfire for 6 hours before their commanders ordered them to stop. 5 soldiers died. Both countries blamed each other for starting the fight. On the U.S. Valiant, Commander Olivia Martinez was woken at 3 a.m. by her first officer. She rushed to the bridge, still buttoning her uniform. "What's happening, Lieutenant?" she asked. "Ma'am, our sensors are picking up something strange." He pointed to a screen showing the Himalayan mountain range. This energy signature appeared right when the border fighting started. Olivia stared at the screen. A bright spot pulsed deep under the mountains, exactly where the border dispute was most heated. It wasn't a heat signature or radiation. It was something their instruments couldn't properly identify. "Have we seen anything like this before?" she asked. "Never, Commander. But there's more." He tapped some keys and the screen changed. "The energy is growing stronger by the hour." Olivia immediately called William Carter in New Delhi. In his office at the embassy, William was already dealing with the fallout from the border clash. When Olivia's call came through, he put her on speaker while continuing to sort through reports. "William, I think there's more going on here than just a border dispute," Olivia said. "We've detected something under the mountains, something that's been hidden there for who knows how long." "What do you mean, something?" William asked, suddenly giving her his full attention. "I can't explain it yet, but whatever it is, it's responding to the conflict, almost like it's waking up." In Washington, Gregory Simmons finally had enough evidence to take to his supervisor at the Pentagon. He walked into Catherine Weber's office with a thick folder of data. "I need you to look at this," he said, placing the folder on her desk. Catherine was in her late 50s with short gray hair and a reputation for being difficult to impress. She leafed through the pages with a frown. "What am I looking at, Simmons?" "Evidence that there's something not human under those mountains," he said. He knew how it sounded, but the data couldn't be explained any other way. Catherine's frown deepened. After a long moment, she reached into her desk drawer and pulled out an old file marked Classified, Project Northern Light. "This isn't the first time we've seen these readings," she said quietly. At NASA headquarters in Houston, Dr. Aisha Johnson was working late when her computer alert went off. The satellites had detected a massive energy spike from the Himalayan region. She quickly checked her equipment, thinking it must be an error, but everything was working properly. Her office phone rang. It was her boss, Director Jack Howard. "Aisha, I need you on a plane to New Delhi. Tonight." "New Delhi? Why?" "You've seen the readings from the border region. The president wants our best people on this, and that's you." "But what am I looking for?" she asked. "We're not sure yet, but the same energy signature was detected during the Cold War and again during the 1999 Kargil War between India and Pakistan. Both times, it went dormant when tensions eased." Aisha felt a chill. "So whatever it is responds to human conflict." "That's what you're going to find out," Director Howard said. On the border, the situation was getting worse. Pakistan rolled tanks toward the front line. India responded by activating its missile defense systems. The world watched nervously as two nuclear powers moved closer to all-out war. William Carter received word that Dr. Johnson was coming to join him. He was told only that she had expertise relevant to the crisis. As he waited for her arrival, he received a classified file from Catherine Weber at the Pentagon. The file contained old photos of what appeared to be an artificial structure deep under the mountains, something that had been there long before humans built cities. The file also contained a single message: "This must remain secret. Global panic would be worse than war." That night, Commander Olivia Martinez watched from the U.S. Valiant as strange lights appeared briefly in the sky above the dispute zone. They weren't aircraft or drones or satellites. The lights moved in patterns that defied physics, then vanished. In the White House, President Elaine Foster met with her crisis team. "If what we suspect is true," she said gravely, "then this India-Pakistan conflict could cost America far more than we ever imagined. We need to know what we're dealing with before it's too late." Dr. Aisha Johnson arrived in New Delhi during a heavy rainstorm. William Carter met her at the airport himself, rather than sending a junior staff member. This told Aisha how serious the situation was. "Welcome to India, Dr. Johnson," William said as they walked to his car. "I wish it were under better circumstances." "Call me Aisha," she replied. "And yes, so do I. Have there been any changes since we last spoke?" William started the car and pulled away from the airport. "The energy readings are growing stronger. And now there's something else. People near the border are reporting strange dreams. The same dream, over and over." "What kind of dream?" Aisha asked. "They see tall figures made of light. The figures show them images of destruction, then point to the sky." William kept his eyes on the road. "Local officials think it's just stress from the conflict. But after what I've seen in those classified files, I'm not so sure." At the embassy, they met in a secure room. William spread out maps of the border region and photos from the classified file. Aisha studied them carefully. "These structures don't match any known ancient civilization," she said. "The patterns are too precise, too mathematical." She pointed to markings on what appeared to be a metal door buried in rock. "And these symbols, they're not human." "So what are we dealing with?" William asked. Before Aisha could answer, William's secure phone rang. It was Olivia from the U.S. Valiant. "William, we just intercepted a message," she said, her voice tense. "It wasn't sent on any known frequency, and it wasn't in any human language." "A message? From where?" William asked. "That's just it. It came from under the mountains, and it wasn't aimed at us. It was aimed at space." In Washington, Gregory Simmons and Catherine Weber were called to an emergency meeting at the White House. President Foster looked tired as they entered the Oval Office. "Tell me what we know," she said without greeting them. Gregory stepped forward with his reports. "Madam President, the energy signature under the Himalayas is growing exponentially, and now it's sending signals into deep space." "Could it be some kind of weapon?" the president asked. Catherine shook her head. "We don't think so. Based on the data from previous activations, it seems more like a beacon." "A beacon for what?" President Foster asked. No one had an answer. Back in New Delhi, Aisha and William were joined by Indian scientist Dr. Vikram Patel. He had been studying strange artifacts found in the mountains years ago, but kept secret by the Indian government. "The artifacts respond to certain frequencies," Dr. Patel explained. "When exposed to the sound of gunfire or explosions, they emit energy pulses, like they're designed to detect conflict," Aisha said. William's phone rang again. This time, it was Gregory from Washington. "We've decoded part of the message," Gregory said. "It's a warning. It says, 'The seedbed is threatened. Evaluation protocol initiated.'" "Seedbed? What does that mean?" William asked. "We think," Gregory said slowly, "it means Earth, or more specifically, human civilization. We think something placed us here, or at least helped shape our development." The three people in the room fell silent as they considered this information. That evening, as fighting intensified on the border, Aisha connected her equipment to the embassy's satellite link. She had an idea about how to understand more of the strange message. If these beings are advanced enough to place monitoring stations under mountains, they must have some universal way of communicating, she explained to William. "Mathematics is the same throughout the universe, so I'm going to try responding with mathematical sequences." As she worked, William received word that President Foster was planning to address the American people the next day. She would not reveal the full truth, but would prepare them for possible unusual events related to the India-Pakistan conflict. At the Pentagon, military leaders gathered to discuss how the situation might affect American interests. No one mentioned the alien presence. They had not been cleared for that information. But everyone agreed that the conflict was expanding in unexpected ways. On the U.S. Valiant, Commander Olivia Martinez watched as her crew detected more signals coming from the mountains. Now the signals were changing, becoming stronger and more complex. It was as if whatever was sending them had detected Aisha's mathematical response and was adjusting its message to be better understood. "It's trying to talk to us," Olivia said to her first officer. "The question is, what does it want to say?" Gregory Simmons couldn't sleep. After the White House meeting, he returned to his office at the Pentagon and began searching through old files. There had to be more information about these alien structures. The government never kept just one copy of important secrets. At 2 a.m., he found what he was looking for, a hidden folder labeled Project Horizon. The files inside told a story that made his blood run cold. The U.S. government had discovered alien technology decades ago and had been secretly studying it. Worse, they had been sharing parts of this technology with other countries, including India and Pakistan. Gregory picked up his secure phone and called Catherine Weber at home. "I found something," he said without greeting her. "The weapons being used at the border. They contain reverse-engineered alien tech. That's why the structures are activating. They recognize their own technology." "Are you sure?" Catherine asked. "Fully awake now?" "Positive. And there's more. The structures aren't just monitoring devices. They're part of a system designed to reset civilizations that become too dangerous." "Reset? What does that mean?" "It means," Gregory said slowly, "that if India and Pakistan go to full war with these weapons, it might trigger something that affects the whole planet, including America." On the U.S. Valiant, Commander Olivia Martinez received new orders directly from the president. The ship was to move closer to the conflict zone, but not to engage unless American lives were at risk. They were also to continue monitoring the strange signals and report any changes immediately. Olivia gathered her senior officers and briefed them on the situation, or at least the parts she was allowed to share. "This mission is now top priority," she told them. "Whatever is happening in those mountains could have global implications." Her communications officer, Lieutenant Alan Rodriguez, raised his hand. "Commander, I've been studying the signals. They've changed again. Now they include images." "Show me," Olivia ordered. The lieutenant displayed the images on a screen. They showed Earth from space, then zoomed in on the Himalayan region. A series of bright dots appeared across the mountains. Then the image shifted to show similar dots all over the planet. "They're not just in the Himalayas," Alan said. "These structures are everywhere." In New Delhi, Aisha, William, and Dr. Patel made a breakthrough in communicating with the alien technology. Using mathematical formulas and simple visual patterns, they established a basic form of dialogue. The responses they received were still difficult to understand, but one message came through clearly. "Weapons test detected. Architect protocols activated. Assessment of species development in progress." "Who are these architects?" William asked. Dr. Patel had a theory. Many ancient texts speak of visitors from the stars who helped shape human civilization. Most scientists dismiss these as myths. But what if they were real? What if these architects seeded Earth with humans, or at least guided our development? "And now they're checking on their experiment," Aisha added, looking troubled, "because we're using weapons that might destroy it." At the White House, President Foster met with her military advisors. The situation at the border was getting worse. Pakistan had moved more forces forward, and India was preparing to respond. "We need to de-escalate this conflict immediately," the president said, "not just for their sake, but for ours." "How?" asked General Keith Wilson. "We have limited influence in the region, especially now that China is backing Pakistan." "We need to tell them the truth," said a voice from the doorway. It was Dr. Samuel Wright, an American scientist who specialized in ancient civilizations. He had been brought in as a consultant because of his knowledge of alien theories. "If we tell them what's really at stake, they might stand down," Dr. Wright continued. "Or they might panic and make things worse," General Wilson countered. President Foster made her decision. "We'll send Dr. Wright to join our team in New Delhi. He'll share what he knows with Dr. Johnson and Mr. Carter. But we don't tell the Indian or Pakistani governments everything yet, just enough to make them understand the danger." In Islamabad, Pakistan, Frank Powell tried desperately to reach his contacts in the Pakistani government. He had received a coded message from William about the situation, but Pakistani officials were now avoiding all American diplomats. They believed the U.S. was favoring India in the conflict. As night fell over the Himalayan mountains, more lights appeared in the sky. This time they were seen by thousands of people on both sides of the border. Videos of the lights spread across social media, causing both fear and wonder. In his Pentagon office, Gregory Simmons made a connection that no one else had seen yet. The alien technology in American weapons systems meant that if the architect's reset was triggered, America's defenses might be the first to fail. The next morning, everything changed. A Pakistani general, acting without full approval from his government, ordered a missile strike against Indian military bases near the border. The missiles were loaded with the new technology that no one fully understood. India's defense systems detected the launch immediately. Their response was automatic, a newly built shield system designed to stop incoming missiles. This system also used the reverse-engineered alien technology. When the Pakistani missiles met the Indian shield, something unexpected happened. Instead of simply being destroyed, the missiles released a strange energy that combined with the shield's energy. A massive purple light shot into the sky. In New Delhi, William Carter was meeting with Dr. Samuel Wright, who had just arrived from Washington. They felt the ground shake beneath them. What was that? William asked, steadying himself against a desk. Dr. Wright looked out the window and saw the purple light shooting up from the distant mountains. "It started," he said quietly. "The weapons have triggered the alien system." On the U.S. Valiant, alarms sounded throughout the ship. Commander Olivia Martinez ran to the bridge. "Report," she ordered. "Energy levels off the charts, Commander," her science officer said. "The entire mountain range is lighting up with activity, and we're getting reports of similar activations around the world, in the Andes, the Alps, even underwater in the Pacific." In Washington, President Foster was woken by her national security advisor. "Madam President, we have a situation. The conflict has escalated, and the alien structures are fully activating." "What does this mean for us?" the President asked as she quickly dressed. "We're already seeing effects. Our satellite systems are experiencing interference, and power grids in several states are reporting unexplained surges." In his Pentagon office, Gregory Simmons watched as his computer screen filled with alerts. Military bases across America were reporting systems failures. Weapons that contained elements of the alien technology were shutting down or behaving strangely. Communications were becoming unreliable. "It's happening," he said to Catherine Weber, who had joined him. "The alien system is affecting our technology." "Not just military technology," Catherine said, looking at her dead cell phone. "Civilian systems, too. Anything that was built using principles learned from the alien artifacts." In Houston, NASA headquarters was in chaos. Their deep space monitoring systems showed something massive moving toward Earth from beyond the orbit of Mars. "Is it a ship?" asked the director. "We don't think so," said the lead astronomer. "It appears to be a wave of energy, and it's accelerating." In New Delhi, Aisha Johnson worked frantically with Dr. Patel and Dr. Wright to establish better communication with the alien system. They had set up equipment in a secure room at the embassy. "We need to tell it we're not trying to destroy ourselves," Aisha said. "That this is just a regional conflict, not a global war." "Will it understand the difference?" Dr. Patel asked. "We have to try," Dr. Wright said. "If this system was designed to protect developing civilizations from themselves, it must have some way to assess intentions." William entered the room with new information. Both sides have agreed to a temporary ceasefire. The Pakistani general who ordered the strike has been removed from command. But the alien system is still active and growing stronger. "A ceasefire might not be enough now," Dr. Wright said. "The system has detected our level of technology and found it dangerous. It's making a judgment about whether humans can be trusted with such power." Across America, cities began experiencing blackouts. Hospitals switched to emergency power. Air traffic controllers struggled to keep planes safely in the air as their equipment failed. People looked up at strange lights in the sky and wondered what was happening. President Foster addressed the nation from the White House. She didn't reveal everything, but explained that the India-Pakistan conflict had triggered a previously unknown natural phenomenon that was affecting electronic systems worldwide. "We are working to resolve this situation," she assured the American people. "Please remain calm and follow emergency guidelines. This is a temporary disruption." But in the Situation Room below the White House, military leaders knew better. This was not temporary. Unless they found a way to communicate with the alien system, the disruption could become permanent. America, with its heavy dependence on technology, would be sent back to the pre-electronic age. The cost would be measured not just in dollars, but in lives. President Foster made a difficult decision. America would directly intervene in the India-Pakistan conflict, not with threats or sanctions, but with military force if necessary. The operation was named Guardian Shield. "This is no longer just their fight," she told her advisors. "The whole world is at risk, especially America with our technology-dependent infrastructure." American forces were mobilized. The U.S. Valiant was joined by 2 aircraft carriers. Special Forces teams prepared for deployment to the border region. Their mission was publicly described as peacekeeping, but they had another, secret purpose: to locate and disable the main alien installation. In New Delhi, William Carter was shocked when he received the orders. This could make everything worse. He told Olivia Martinez over a secure line, "If we bring more weapons into the area, especially our advanced systems, it might accelerate whatever the alien technology is doing." "I agree," Olivia said, "but I have my orders. The president believes a show of force will convince both sides to back down completely." Dr. Samuel Wright had a different idea. He gathered Aisha, William, and Dr. Patel in the secure room at the embassy. "We need to send a different kind of message," he said, "not to India or Pakistan, but to the alien system itself." "How?" Aisha asked. "By showing it that humans can choose peace over war," Dr. Wright explained. "The system is judging our species. We need to show it that we're worth saving." In Washington, the first signs of serious trouble appeared. The power grid for the entire East Coast began failing. Hospitals lost power. Water treatment plants shut down. Communications became spotty. The Pentagon itself had to switch to old, non-computerized systems. Gregory Simmons realized that American military operations would be severely hampered. The varied forces being sent to help might not be able to function properly. He shared his concerns with Catherine Weber. "We're sending troops with equipment that might not work," he said, "and we're not telling them why." "What choice do we have?" Catherine asked. "If we reveal everything, there could be panic." At NASA, the energy wave from space was getting closer. Scientists now believed it was some kind of signal meant to activate the final phase of the alien system. When it arrived, the reset would begin. "We have less than 48 hours, the NASA director told the president. "After that, we could lose all modern technology." In New York, Chicago, Los Angeles, and other major cities, people began to worry as services failed. Some areas had no power for more than a day. Cell phones didn't work. The internet was down in many places. Food deliveries to stores stopped. Some people began to leave the cities, causing traffic jams on major highways. On the U.S. Valiant, Commander Olivia Martinez received a strange message. It came through on an old radio system that used no computerized parts. "This is Dr. Aisha Johnson. We've made contact with the alien system. It's given us coordinates, a specific location in the mountains where we might be able to communicate directly with whatever is controlling this." Olivia made a decision that could end her career. She would take a small team to the coordinates without waiting for approval from her superiors. Communications were too unreliable, and time was running out. In the White House, President Foster met with leaders from both political parties. She decided to tell them the full truth about the alien technology and how America had been secretly using it for decades. Our nation's power and wealth in recent years didn't come just from hard work and innovation, she admitted. It came from technology we didn't create and didn't fully understand. Now we're paying the price for that secret. William Carter arranged transport for Aisha, Dr. Wright, and Dr. Pidle to the coordinates in the mountains. It was dangerous. The border region was still tense despite the ceasefire. But they had no choice. American forces would arrive soon, and that might trigger the very disaster they were trying to prevent. As they prepared to leave, William received word that Frank Powell, his counterpart in Pakistan, had convinced Pakistani officials to allow a joint scientific mission to the area. Indian officials, after much argument, agreed as well. It would be the first cooperative effort between the two countries in years. Maybe that's the point, Dr. Wright said. Maybe the alien system isn't just judging our technology. Maybe it's judging our ability to work together. The situation in America grew worse by the hour. In homes across the country, nothing worked. No lights, no heat, no phones. Cars with computer chips wouldn't start. Planes couldn't fly. Hospitals struggled to care for patients as medical equipment failed. Gregory Simmons sat in his dark Pentagon office, working by candlelight. He had made a difficult decision. Using an old printing press found in the building's basement, he had copied the most important files about Project Horizon. Now he was going to share them with the public. People deserve to know why this is happening, he told Catherine Weber. They deserve to know what their government has been hiding. You'll be arrested for treason, she warned him. Only if we survive this, he replied. In the Himalayan mountains, William Carter, Aisha Johnson, Dr. Wright, and Dr. Pidle reached the coordinates. They were joined by Frank Powell and scientists from both India and Pakistan. Despite years of hostility, the scientists worked together with surprising ease. They all understood what was at stake. The coordinates led them to a small valley hidden between tall peaks. In the center of the valley stood a stone structure that looked ancient, yet somehow not weathered by time. This has been here for thousands of years, Dr. Patel said in awe. As they approached, part of the stone wall slid open, revealing a doorway. Lights came on inside, despite there being no visible power source. It's inviting us in, Dr. Wright said. Commander Olivia Martinez and her small team arrived just as the scientists were entering the structure. She had brought minimal equipment, nothing with the reverse-engineered alien technology that might trigger a negative response. Inside, they found a large chamber with a central platform. When Aisha stepped onto the platform, holographic images appeared around her. They showed Earth at different periods in history, from the age of dinosaurs to modern times. It's showing us Earth's development, Aisha said. And look, there are points where something intervened. The images showed meteors being deflected from Earth, climate shifts being stabilized, and early human settlements receiving unexpected help during disasters. The architects, Dr. Wright whispered, they'd been guiding our development all along. A new image appeared, a model of DNA slowly changing over time. They didn't just watch us, Dr. Pidle said. They helped create us. In Washington, President Foster addressed the nation again. This time, she told more of the truth. Fellow Americans, our nation and our world face a test unlike any before. We are being judged by a power that has watched over humanity since our beginning. Our actions now will determine our future. As she spoke, the energy wave from space reached Earth. Across America, the last functioning technologies began to fail. Military bases went dark. Emergency generators stopped working. The president's broadcast cut off mid-sentence, leaving the nation in silence and darkness. In his home, Gregory Simmons gave his printed files to a network of bicycle messengers, young people who had organized to spread information when electronic communications failed. Within hours, people across Washington would know the truth about Project Horizon and how America had secretly used alien technology to gain power. Inside the mountain structure, Aisha found a way to communicate with the system. Using simple hand gestures and the mathematical patterns they had discovered earlier, she conveyed a message. Humans understood their mistake and wanted to change. The system responded with a series of images showing different possible futures. In one, Earth was reset to a pre-industrial state. In another, humanity continued with technology, but under strict guidance from the alien system. It's giving us a choice, Aisha realized. But who are we to make that choice for all humanity? William asked. We're the ones who are here, Commander Martinez said simply. Sometimes history comes down to who showed up. Outside the structure, American military forces had arrived. They surrounded the valley, not understanding what was happening inside. Their equipment barely worked, but they had orders to secure the alien installation at all costs. In space, the energy wave paused as if waiting for a decision. The fate of America and the world hung in balance. Would humanity be allowed to keep its technological progress, or would civilization be reset to an earlier, simpler time? Aisha looked at the faces around her. American, Indian, Pakistani, all worried, all hoping. She placed her hand on the central console and made her choice. Aisha chose a third option. Using the mathematical language they had developed, she proposed a compromise. Humanity would keep its technology, but would learn to use it wisely. The alien system would remain as a guardian, not a ruler. For long moments, nothing happened. The holographic images froze. Then, slowly, they changed to show a new future, one where humans develop their own path, learning from their mistakes. It's accepting our choice, Dr. Wright said, his voice filled with wonder. The chamber hummed with energy. Lights pulsed through the walls. Then, suddenly, everything went quiet. Outside, the American soldiers watched in amazement as the strange lights in the sky began to fade. In the distance, they could see Indian and Pakistani forces also watching the sky. For that moment, no one was an enemy. In cities across America, power began to return. Not all at once, and not everywhere, but the complete blackout was ending. Medical equipment started working again. Water pumps turned on. Some phones began to ring. At the White House, President Foster received word that the crisis appeared to be easing. But she knew America had changed forever. The secrets were out now, thanks to Gregory Simmons and his printed files. People knew about Project Horizon and the alien technology that had helped America become a superpower. In the days that followed, the president made difficult decisions. She ordered all weapons using alien technology to be disabled. She created a new international agency to study the alien structures, with scientists from all nations working together. And she began the process of sharing America's technological knowledge with the world. We cannot go back to the old ways, she said in her address to Congress. We cannot keep these secrets for ourselves. The architects have given humanity a second chance, and we must use it wisely. In the mountain valley, the stone structure transformed. It opened completely, revealing its true nature, a monitoring station that had watched over Earth for millennia. Scientists from many countries came to study it, under the watchful eyes of both military forces and the alien system itself. William Carter was appointed as the first director of the new International Cooperation Agency. His experience as a diplomat made him the perfect choice to help nations work together in this new era. What we've learned, he told reporters, is that our differences are small compared to our common humanity. The India-Pakistan War almost destroyed us all, but it also gave us a chance to start over. Commander Olivia Martinez was promoted to admiral and given command of a new kind of navy, one designed for exploration rather than war. Her ships would help build bridges between nations instead of defending against them. Aisha Johnson became the lead scientist in the study of the alien technology. She worked closely with Dr. Patel from India and scientists from Pakistan. Together, they began to understand how the architects had guided human development and what they wanted for Earth's future. They're not our masters, she explained in a global broadcast. They're more like parents. They helped us grow, but now they want us to make our own choices. Gregory Simmons was arrested for sharing classified information, but was later pardoned by President Foster. He joined the new international agency as its head of transparency, making sure that no government could keep such secrets again. In the years that followed, America changed in ways no one could have predicted. Without alien technology giving them an advantage, they had to work harder and smarter. They had to cooperate with other nations instead of competing with them. It wasn't always easy, and there were many who wished for the old days of American dominance. But most people understood that the price of that dominance had been too high. It had nearly cost them everything. On the one-year anniversary of what became known as the Revelation, people around the world gathered to look up at the stars. They knew now that they were not alone in the universe. They knew that they were being watched and evaluated. And they knew that their future was in their own hands. In a small ceremony at the mountain installation, representatives from India, Pakistan, America, and many other nations signed a new kind of treaty, one that promised cooperation not just between countries, but between humanity and whatever other intelligent life might exist among the stars. William Carter signed for America. As he did, he felt a sense of both humility and hope. The India-Pakistan War had almost destroyed civilization, but it had also given humanity a new beginning.